Okay, hey, welcome back to Old Dirty Gamers. You got Richard Stanley, Terry Hodge. Terry Hodge?
Terry Hodge.
Terry Hodge. Eric Burrell, sorry. We actually have a screen up this time so we can kind of see what we're doing a little bit, and everything's backwards. So
it looks kind of weird to us.
Going this way,
going that way.
So what do we got going on this week? I know Super Bowl's happening tomorrow. We're actually pre-taping this a little bit, so we'll be releasing it as the football's happening, which means that absolutely nobody's going to be watching it at that time, which I get.
Exactly. So this is actually an early release.
The game. Early hot release.
I mean, early hot release.
So
early.
Who are you guys going for? Anybody? You don't really give a shit.
I'm going for the guys in the suits who throw the ball and the other guys catch it. The guys who threw the ball. That's who I'm going with. Yeah.
I feel like the Seahawks are more of the underdog.
Are the Seahawks
always about the underdog?
I literally just found out it
Seahawks
was the Seahawks.
They sucked it up this season, man. The
Patriots
Patriots dominated.
Weren't the Patriots in it a few years ago against the Giants? Did that happen?
Yeah. No, they went last year.
Okay.
They won.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but we film in Arizona, and I've been told that I guess that the Seahawks are like rivals with us or something. So you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So yeah, looking forward to the game, I guess, and great. Nobody cares. Video games, whatever.
Is it on Madden?
I don't know if you guys can hear that. We have dogs in the background. Could you go and maybe shut them up or something?
Like put a bullet in their brain.
Thanks.
So
really we love dogs, but you know, we have to be able to do our thing.
They can be bitches sometimes too.
So because female dogs and all that. See what you did there.
Yeah. They act exactly like my ex-wife. I don't have an ex-wife.
Like licking and barking.
I feel like
the same kind of
I
stuff?
feel like everyone always hates their ex-wife no matter what. Like this is how it is. Nobody has a good relationship with their ex-wife. Yeah, this is how it is. That's how I feel about my PlayStation 1. Like,
you don't have a good relationship with your PlayStation?
Like I miss it, but it also kind of fucked me several times.
If your PlayStation 1 was your ex-wife,
you had to replace or what?
Like the laser would go in and out. At one point, it just like burned up a game in there. Just like I couldn't play. It was actually Xenogears.
There you go.
The last
he was burning his game.
Yeah, I got burned. The PlayStation 1 gave me the clap.
If the PlayStation 1 was like an ex-wife, is the Dreamcast like the one that got away?
The Dreamcast is like the one that was like that. The Dreamcast is that girl you met at spring break. It was super fun, and super young and new, but it got really old really quick. And then like all these older women came out who were more mature in your form of your PlayStation 2 and your Xbox.
500 Days of Summer kind of.
Exactly. It was a great summer with the Dreamcast, by the way. All black people had Dreamcasts.
It was a really good year.
Did they? It was a thing?
Black people highly support. Because Black History Month is coming up, you should know. There'll be several.
So everybody go get a Dreamcast.
Go get a Dreamcast. In honor of Black History. Get a Sega Genesis too, because Black people highly supported Sega. We do.
You know why? That's because Knights was out for that.
I thought it was because of Sonic. He was blue, which was closer to black, so we're down with that. And he just had that little bit of an edge, like fuck you a little bit, to Mario, who was more wholesome.
Yeah.
He had an attitude.
Mario was wholesome? Mario was Italian.
Well, Italians apparently. He's from the family company of Nintendo that makes family systems, not even game consoles.
Tell Bayonetta, which was like both Sega and Nintendo fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Although we just read not too long ago, those of you who haven't seen it, we're going to have an article up in a little bit, but Sega's, I don't say they're folding, but they're pretty much getting out of the console business almost entirely.
Well, I mean, I thought they were only in software at this point.
Well, they are, but they're getting out of the console software business. They're like only going to do 4 games.
Wow, that is crazy.
Which is kind of sad because they own the rights to Bayonetta. So, and I like Bayonetta.
Well, I hope Bayonetta's one of them.
They do Hatsune Miku.
Oh no!
Do they?
They do Hatsune Miku, which is a rhythm game that's very popular in Japan and with one player in the United States. Our cameraman Dan. He buys the entire stock. Dan Cannon.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that means there won't be any more Hatsune Mikus coming out in America. So you'll just have to get them from Japan like everybody else did until they tried it out. But it is what it is.
So if you're Sega and you have 4 titles or 4 games that you can own and continue to create, what games would they be?
Bayonetta.
Sonic.
Oh god. Altered Beast.
Do they own Pan? That's actually not a bad idea. If they came out with Altered Beast today, I would play it. I'd be like, sure, man. Fuck it, let's do it, man.
I think it depends on what the game was.
It'd probably be a fucking sandbox game if they made Altered Beast now. Anyway.
Oh god, open world.
Open world.
Horrible. I would just rather do like Dragon's Crown, where it's like a throwback.
Yeah.
Everybody's just super muscly, and they're like, Urgh.
Well, do they own the rights to Panzer Dragoon, like the flying, shooting dragon game?
Oh, I don't remember.
That was on Sony. That was one of the first games on PlayStation 2.
Was it? Didn't it come out on Sega Saturn first, son?
It might have. I don't know.
I think I would know.
But that doesn't mean that Sega owned it. I don't know.
That's true. Who knows who owns that game?
I don't know.
I guess Sonic and Bayonetta is
Panzer
really...
and Dragoon.
And whatever else they own. I would say keep going with whatever is your biggest titles. But I mean, Sonic has been on his downturn for a long, sad time. I'm a big Sonic fan.
They actually haven't, unless I'm wrong, which wouldn't surprise me. I don't think they've made like a classic Sonic game in a while, have they? Like it's just the side-scrolling like.
The last one they made was Sonic Generations, because it featured a side-scroll version of of one stage from every one of their most popular titles. Which apparently Sonic Colors is pretty good. It made some difficult stages, but anyways, in Sonic Generations it was just. I can't say enough good things. I'm going to have to write an article about this game because it is the best Sonic game there's ever been made. It's better than the original side-scroll ones. Better than Sonic Advance 1 and 2. I said it, dude.
I don't know. My favorite is still just Sonic 3 plus Knuckles.
Dude, Sonic Generations.
Like where they had like one cartridge that fit into the secondary cartridge. It came an upgrade cartridge. And you them both into
Well, they included Sonic 1 and I believe 2 in like the international release or something where you could play the original game of it. But what I really liked about it was the first time since Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic 3 with Knuckles, that you could get all the 7 emeralds and turn into Super Sonic in every single stage in the game with 50 rings. Jump, press A again, boom, every stage. Like that.
Did you ever play Nights?
Yeah, Nights into Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it. I thought it was cool.
That's another one I thought I liked that it was pretty much just a Sonic game, but you just weren't Sonic. You were like an elf thing.
Yeah, and some kid goes to sleep and turns into a little magical creature and floats around. In the night, doo-doo-doo. That's it. That's the whole game. That's it. That's all you need. I liked it. Anyways, Sonic. I'm going to write an article about Sonic Generations. I'm announcing that now.
And I'm writing Nemo.
Yeah.
Who made Little Nemo?
What is Little Nemo?
That was a French story.
No, but like I don't remember what developer made. You remember the Little Nemo game where you you play Little Nemo?
Oh, it might have been like what was those shitty like Acclaim or what's the one?
I think Acclaim got bought by Activision.
Yeah,
Activision bought up a bunch of.
I mean, it was an old game.
Activision, the fucking Blizzard of consoles. All right, well, we should move on to our next segment. So as usual, for now, we still got Terry's hot release.
This is one of the thinnest, runniest, not chunkiest hot releases I've ever had. And it's early. It's a premature, very small, very thin release. The first game we're going to talk about is going to be Real Fishing. All right, Dan? All right. Real Fishing is what we're talking about first.
What happens in this game?
Well, actually, before you do that, I was going to say, so we actually have somebody else in the studio now. Do you want to come on camera?
I guess so.
We have
all right.
McKenna's
awesome.
back in the studio.
Also, like small
I'll
and not chunky
and
Hello.
Not chunky and not runny. What's up?
Not runny.
Not much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was Portland?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Was it rainy? Was it foggy?
It was so rainy and it was so foggy.
Yes.
And I want to go back there.
Hey, McKenna, we all saw the coolest thing today. You should check it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you think it is.
Right.
In case you're wondering,
Okay.
So in this studio, we just had Terry show his cock to somebody.
All right.
That's definitely not sexual harassment. So
Okay.
on that note,
Is that actually Terry's penis?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Oh my God.
Did it seem too big to be?
Terry,
It was
I don't want to know.
It was a prosthetic from the end of Boogie Nights. Just kidding.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Totally. This is what we do. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. He's
I don't
creepy.
either.
And
You know,
crazy.
it took us like 10 minutes of looking through his phone and then him actually guiding us through the phone.
So here's
And not wanting us to see it.
He
And
said
then
he
you
didn't
come
want
in
us
and
to
he
see it
jumps.
because I was looking at something on his phone, and he's like, "Oh, don't go to the pictures because then you'll see my cock." And I was like, "Okay, so I guess we were supposed to do this." He's like, "No, I don't want you to. It's in the gallery section. I don't want you to see it because I don't.
Please.
And then of course he's like,
But
and I was
it's
like,
like it's number 23 in the list of like 100 and something.
Yeah.
Like,
I had to find it because it wasn't the same place most photos were, and I was like, hold on, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna get everybody else. I'm gonna show Dylan. I'm gonna show McKenna. Show them one. And he's like, no.
No.
Well, no. All right.
He wanted
and
it
then
to be-
finally he had to be so now you know.
He wanted it to be a
Yeah.
big surprise.
None of that has anything to do with games.
I just want to get
Anyway.
McKenna's reaction on camera. A little bit bigger than yours.
I mean, it was just me, but I think she was kind of not that impressed.
She really wasn't.
There wasn't a lot there.
I mean, okay, like,
She really wasn't.
I'm on the internet a lot. I see a lot of dicks. It's fine. Like, it's not a big
She
deal.
goes to cons.
White
It was
women.
pretty anticlimactic. And I expect you to be like, boom, you know?
This is gonna be like our most viewed video now,
This is it.
because it's like McKenna's reaction to
Here's
other
hot
staff
penis.
members' penis. Other staff
greatest
members'
thing
members.
We should
Okay.
redo the old Dirty Gamers thing and just have his penis like smoking a cigarette.
No, that's not going to happen. Nope.
Actually, the floor manager for the bar I work at, showed me a picture of a penis with a top hat on it. yesterday.
Like a real top hat, like somebody sewed a small
Like
top
someone
hat, or
like had
photoshopped
photoshopped a top hat onto a penis, and like with like and it was like tipping the top hat, and I don't know why she decided to show this to me, but she was laughing so hard. I was just like,
she's
all
like,
right.
it's so dandy.
Just to see how it feels.
It's very formal.
Yeah.
So we'll be going to a lot more cons when we're not talking about penises and looking at them on phones. She just came back from Portland. I don't know, a lot of you guys hopefully saw her out there doing a fantastic job. Did a Battle Bunny Ribbon, I think?
Yes.
What you did?
Battle Bunny Ribbon.
Battle Bunny
the
Ribbon.
one day.
Yeah.
Terry, don't laugh at me.
All right, well,
Which
I
con?
appreciate
Which con
it.
was this? Did we say what con it was?
I don't
It
even
was
remember.
Wizard World Comic
That's it.
Con.
Was it World Comic Con?
It was a
Portland.
World Comic Con.
We have somebody out of ClutchCon this weekend. Apparently, there's like a thing. It's not going very well. Apparently.
Marijuana is legal in Denver, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because it took him 2 hours and 47 minutes to find it.
Nice.
You know, I didn't put that together. Actually, we just sent our resident pot smoker straight to the end. Like
He texted Dylan and he was like, yeah, it took me 2 hours and 47 minutes to find and smoke marijuana.
New record maybe for him. I have no idea. I know the first whole day that basically they were having like network problems. So even the people that they brought in to were professional gamers were like they just were sitting in their hotel rooms.
Smoking pot, probably.
Probably smoking. Probably he should have just offered. Really, I don't know if he did or not. He could just be like, "Hey guys, who wants to get an exclusive interview for High Times?"
I work for a gaming website, and we'll do all your gaming news. You guys want to get high? Howdy. Anybody likes video games? Well, we do Twitch all the time. We play Evolve and Advanced Warfare.
And I'm high as
You guys
fuck
wanna
when I
get
do
high?
it. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.
You're so welcome.
Thanks. Get back over here, Terry, and let's do some actual fucking
Come
recording.
on
just
over
waiting
here,
for your wife.
you.
We're gonna go
You
do
know about
coding
real
together.
fishing,
Nice. Did she pick you up?
master challenge
Yeah.
or whatever?
Word.
Okay, one more thing to look at. I'm just
Women in
kidding.
coding.
Just kidding.
Glitch Slap supporting women in coding. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
All right, back on track. Shit.
She won't shoot.
Hot release.
We are talking about real fishing. It's one of the most revolutionary games in the industry.
In the
It allows-
Real evolutionary?
Revolutionary. It's real
Fish.
evolutionary.
When you throw out your line, do you go like this?
No, you just go like this, and the line
most-
goes directly out.
Complex minigame game ever.
This is a game where you just fish and catch fish, and the more fish you catch, the more difficult fish will become available to catch. I didn't read the synopsis of the game at all, but what else is going to happen in the game? Or is the Loch Ness Monster going to show up? Probably not. Is the Kraken going to show up? Probably not.
Oh my
Guess
god.
what's going to happen?
I would play
You're
a
gonna-
fishing game with that.
You're going to catch fish and steadily catch larger and more difficult fish that aren't more difficult to catch, but take more time to bring in.
You know, I actually saw they had this special edition one that comes out with this doohickey that you can, like, for the Wii, because you can get it for all the consoles.
God, of course.
But you plug it into the Wii, and it turns the Wii into, like, a fishing pole.
Yeah.
And you can get it, they love that shit at Bass Pro Shops. It was like, and you have the nunchuck on the side, like, And I just always imagine, like, this guy who is, like, 85 years old white dude, who's like, finally, I don't have to leave to get my fishing.
And he'll die with the controller in his hand.
I mean, that's good. You can take a picture of him just like...
That doesn't die from playing video games.
That's it. That's the next article. Real fishing kills really like 75 old dudes. It's
I don't know.
fucking terrible. It's not a real game. And this is how thin the fucking release is right now. If you got a PlayStation 4 and it's like, hey, it's a new week. What am I going to get? I guess I'll get a fishing game because fuck me, right? PlayStation?
Just fuck me.
Oh, developers, get it together, man. I know it's still early in the year. And we're still getting some hangover from the dry out. I mean, thank God Dying Light came out last week, for love of God. It's
Yeah.
great game, by the way. You should see some stuff on it from
Come on,
us.
guys. The beginning of the year is the most important time. First month.
It means everything for the rest of your year.
Yes.
Everything. But anyways.
You know that there is more vacation days between the end of the year and the beginning of, I think, February for everybody. And then after, or mid-February, because that's what President's Day is. And then after President's Day, there's not a fucking one until July.
That is ridiculous.
Until 4th of July. So there's...
Memorial Day.
When's Memorial Day?
May.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, one.
Well, I guess you
But
forgot,
it's-
I
I
guess
know
you
there's-
forgot Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but whatever.
I didn't forget that.
And
It's
not in
between
Arizona.
February.
Oh, okay, my bad. I wasn't really
We
listening.
just had that.
I wasn't really listening. But
No,
go.
there's one day in between there and like 4th of July when you finally start to get toward the end of summer and people take some vacation time and they said, but there's this dry spell where people have no free time and they release games then.
Yep.
But they don't release games right before Christmas. They don't release games, around spring break. They don't. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So I don't get any of it.
Because if you had time to play a game, then you might actually finish it and buy another game.
Maybe,
oh man,
maybe. Or like, can you imagine what the DLC for Real Fishing is? They just give you more fish.
If it was the crack.
New location. Now you can fish at Tempe Town Lake.
Oh my god.
You know what? That would be somewhat of an incentive to me to continue to play the game. Oh, now I can fish in real locations. Let me go to Loch Ness. Why not? Probably won't catch Nessie because it's not there. I've been there. I didn't see it, so it's not there. All right.
You've been there?
Yeah, of course I've been there.
Oh my god.
Do you see the freaking Union Jack in my shirt? You don't think I'm gonna live in England?
Well,
Did
it's
you
in
give anybody
Scotland,
tree
though. Scotland's a different country, right?
Tree fitty? How'd you get no Loch Ness monitor?
I gave them that amount in pounds because when I lived there, we still went by pounds.
Pounds, yeah.
Man,
Not
pounds.
euros, though.
Not euros. No.
What's your English accent like then? You had to pick something up.
If I drink that entire bottle of Fireball, it'll come out by the end of the bottle.
Let's go get that.
He starts being like,
Oi, cheerio, governor! Oi?
Top of the morning!
Oi?
Is that what it sounds like?
I think among all of us, the best person to do a British accent
definitely
is probably
taking you
Richard.
with us when we go, and you're going to keep that
Bring it
accent
on.
the whole time, and we're just going to have American accents.
Righto!
Bring it on.
We'll get you
Let's
a
do it.
top hat, and you can all right, that's not even Fireball. This is you can't, no.
I can't show that, but
You can't show
I'm
that.
sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I showed my dick to a white girl, and now
Jesus. By the way, that's not the first time this week he's done that, but at 3 o'clock, it's sort of his thing.
all right.
It's 5 o'clock.
He's still trying to take it back.
Yeah, let's have maybe one.
Does it
before
taste
the
like
night's
fire?
over.
He smells like Kentucky now.
Ooh, yes, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Kentucky Fried
Now I'm
Chicken.
hungry. Anyway, all right. Is there anything else?
For this game that I want to talk about, I want to talk about other fishing games that were inside of other games. Like the Zelda, the Ocarina of Time fishing game.
Yeah, I played that.
You know what else? You know what other game had a fishing game in it?
That's
Sonic
Zelda.
Adventure 1
What?
with Big the Cat. You remember that? Big the Cat.
I never played.
Oh man, that game was so sweet except for the parts where you had to play with other characters. So like 10% of it was sick. Everything else sucked. Seriously.
It's like a really bad game.
The Knuckles part was kind of cool, but he couldn't really run that fast. But
Which is funny because he can run just as fast as Sonic in the first time you can play.
and for
it.
some reason they gave Tails a mech, and Tails would walk around in this mech and shoot. That's what he does. It's like a shooter part.
Does
And-
anybody feel like that Sonic and Knuckles was just a ripoff of Batman and Robin?
Nah.
I always thought they were fucking. Are they fucking?
Only in my
Batman and
mind.
Robin, probably.
No, I mean Sonic and Knuckles.
If you look it up online, yes, they are.
Oh, okay, good.
They all are. And Shadow's
I'm
like.
glad
I mean, he was built. I mean, 2 tails. I mean,
Except when the Knuckles, ow, spikes.
Oh, man.
Well,
Yeah,
come
he's
on.
got those-
Did you have to go directly to
And then
fishing?
Sonic's like,
Can you not look me in the eyes when we do this?
yeah.
I still kind of wonder where they were like, we've got a hedgehog. So what kind of other random creature can we come up? How about an echidna?
Yeah.
Echidna,
It can,
a tail,
why
a
not?
fox.
Why not like a giraffe? The
Amy
speedy
was also-
giraffe. And then, if you don't hold the controller right, you fall over your fucking neck. I don't even know why somebody
Yeah.
would.
I'm trying
It's
to
actually
think, that's one of the few animals they didn't have because they had a bat, they had a chameleon.
They had a
they
bat?
They had a bat.
Yeah.
Rouge the bat. She had big
Rouge.
boobs.
Don't act like I have any fucking clue who these Sonic characters are.
I know
Rouge
Sonic
the
backwards and
bat?
forwards.
Yeah,
man.
she
was a jewel thief.
She was always.
And she's
fucking
also
with,
Knuckles' love interest.
She's like, everybody's a jewel thief. They're all looking for Chaos Emeralds.
Well, she's a jewel thief. Like,
Laura Croft,
but she
Indiana
specifically.
Jones.
Okay.
Drake.
You know what? Drake?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Drake the rapper. I was like, he's not a jewel thief. He makes jewels. They pay him in jewelry.
Is there
They
another
give him
one?
I
diamonds.
want to point
for-
out that when we're having nerd conversations and he says the word Drake, he thinks of somebody who's a rapper.
Fuck. Oh,
Whenever
wow.
whenever he grabs the jewel, he's like starting from the
Stereotyping.
bottom. Now I'm
I
here.
don't know.
You know,
Started from the
I went to a
bottom, now-
concert with him last year.
Together, like his friends?
No,
Yeah.
he was there. He performed. It was
So
impressive.
not with him.
Well, he shouted out to me.
Did he? He was
Yeah.
like, Terry,
He-
thanks for the picture.
This is
you
what
did."
Drake did during a show. He's amazing, by the way. He's a great performer. He ran a cable across the entire audience, and it was like invisible because of all the smoke and lighting effects and whatnot.
Because he's a wizard.
Because he's a wizard. And stood
like
on
Ghost
it, floated over the audience, like just barely so you
Floated
can't.
over the
on a little pulley system.
Like Peter Pan?
Like Peter Pan almost. Just so you can
I
barely.
can fly, I can fly.
Just
I
barely
can
so you
fly.
can't touch him to keep him safe from the crazies. And he shouted out people in the audience, I see you over there in New York, Jersey. You feeling me tonight? But I see you over this wit across the entire audience. At one point he looked at me and said, I see you over there with that white girl. I was like, yeah, she's not with me, but...
She just sucks my dick.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wasn't he with Little John or something?
Lil Wayne.
Oh,
I
my
think
bad.
maybe he likes white girls better than we do. If it's possible.
I've only even been with like 3 white girls.
3
This week.
2 since I moved out here. It was a long drought. It was a solid...
A long drought. So
solid-
to have a drought, there must have been more.
There was
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
and she
There was a
ruined
abundance
me,
at
and then
one
10
point.
years went by, and then I decided to get back into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't
Okay.
the first white girl that you had, she turned into a black hole?
I
and
can't
then
say her name on camera.
Matthew
'cause she might
McConaughey
watch
went
this.
around her.
But
and
she
then
knows who
got
she
sucked
is.
in.
Don't go doing the do. All right.
Are there any other new releases
Yes,
that are
there
not
is, there is.
Terry's
Sorry.
dick related? We can talk about?
That's what we're gonna call this episode. You know that, right? The cockin
Cheating
or something.
Terry? Because
No, the
it's-
cockin or something, or like
The
the lock dick monster or something.
No, we're definitely going to call the episode something to do with cheating, because believe it or not, that's what we're going to talk about later.
Oh,
Maybe
which-
his dick is related to cheating, but for now we're still trying to get hot releases out.
I may or not
the
be
next
involved with
game
that.
that
The
is
next
not
game-
fishing. Fuck.
Yeah, don't.
This game is Pantheon.
Pantheon.
Apotheon. Sorry,
Well,
it's
Pantheon
it's a what Greek word?
Greek word.
Probably. Anyways,
know what that means?
it's a side scroll game.
You know things, right?
Apothrion? It sounds like the place where you go to get medicine.
No, that's
You
an
have a degree in
apothecarian.
something
It's
nonsensical,
apothecarian,
right?
dude.
Aren't you supposed to know things?
I know things. I know stuff. Things.
Things and stuff and words.
And words.
Somebody on the other side of the camera's got a very mischievous face. I didn't catch what happened.
She's
there.
just eating some of my
Terry's
nuts.
nuts.
Yeah.
They're brown and
Are
salty.
they good?
They're large, salty, and brown.
I think we're just gonna cut the broadcast. Eric and I are gonna go, and he's just gonna fucking talk about his dick right now. Because obviously,
So when I first discovered
So
my penis,
happy.
seriously,
I was-
like I think you just need to. Do we need to give you an entire hour about your dick so you get out of your system? Is that what needs to
it
happen?
needs to get into your system is what it needs
No,
to happen.
I'm allergic to dark chocolate.
Ooh, it's inside of you. All right.
What is this?
is
Is
there-
it not get hard? Is that what this is?
Well,
Is
it's gonna worm.
Are you
its
like
way
fuck?
into-
Is your dick called Lemmy Winks? I don't know what this is.
You guys remember when we used Terry's dick to get to the moon?
Oh my god! You guys remember at the end of Neverending Story when the kid was riding my dick and he was like, "Yeah."
I remember when I remember in How I Learned to Love the Bomb when he was riding it out of a plane.
Oh my god!
On
Woo!
Terry's dick. Remember when Terry's
my
dick
God.
told Bilbo Baggins that he has very nice manners? For
Oh my god!
I remember when I held you in front, behind, riding on top of Terry's dick and said, "I'm the king of the world."
Do you remember when there's one set of footprints? That's when my dick was carrying me.
the greatest story ever told.
I am actually Terry's dick.
He
I
is.
live in his
we,
bed.
we all are. We all
We all
inside are Terry.
Are there any other fucking games? You need
We're
to talk
talking.
about
I'm
Apotheon.
trying to get into it, but we got sidetracked.
Jeez.
Jeez, it's a side-scroll action RPG, and it kind of plays in the tune of a little bit Dark Soulsy because you fight different kinds of enemies that are bigger than you and stronger than you, and it's kind of supposed
Like
to have
every other game ever.
I like to just use Dark
Is it
Souls.
side
as a
scrolling?
reference.
It looks side scrolling.
Actually, I would say Demon Souls is side-scroll. Yeah,
Demon
it's got very
Souls.
interesting art style too. It's very much
So
like
if you can move out of the way of things, your armor doesn't suck, the gameplay isn't boring, and the story isn't shit, then it's nothing like it.
Well, I respect your
Just
right to
gonna
your
say-
opinion, sir, but I'm going to disagree with it.
Just gonna say.
I will defend to the death your right to your opinion, but I will graciously disagree.
There's actually one type of person that I've met, and they're always the same type of person that likes Dark Souls, and they love it. They want to like rub their fucking body with it.
Yeah.
And first off, they're serious sado fucking masochists. They just love hurting other people and hurting themselves.
Yeah.
They like to argue about absolutely nothing, and their favorite things are menus and attention to detail.
I just want to say one thing. I love menus. I love sub-menus. I love them. I love them.
And
Have you ever
masters.
played Ni no Kunai? It has the most sub-menus of any game I've ever played. Ni no Kunai? It's from
I
level...
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's
half the time.
Okay, Ni no Kunai... Well,
Alright, cool.
I'll write an article about it and you'll know all about
Yes!
That's
it.
very
Okay?
cool.
It's loading up. It's a game where it's made by level 5.
Terry's dick is
And,
writing an article right now.
It's describing... Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're gonna have to make like a web cartoon.
The best thing is we have multiple versions of this to be saved in multiple locations, so we'll never get rid of this podcast. It's been great.
It'd be on your resume.
Terry's parents watch this stuff.
They do. They watch my mom and my sisters.
So
watch
does
all-
McKenna's parents.
Ooh.
Hey, we're taking good care of your
She's
daughter.
not your little girl anymore. Now she's mine.
Oh my god.
One of these days, they're gonna come over and you're gonna have to see them face to face for that.
Yep.
That's gonna
And
be
I know what I'll do. Like, hey guys,
Run.
here you go. Take it.
Brother.
They'll show them mine as well. All right, let's get the whole
No,
family.
actually, he'll do what he always does, which is feel fucking terrible, offer them money, and get on his knees because that's how he is.
That's how I handle awkward situations. So yeah.
I am actually sorry, but
Yeah. Well,
anything
it's
else? So
whatever.
Pantheon, side-scrolling RPG, kill things, seems
Yeah,
fun. I'm
it does
guessing
look
we
fun.
had images up.
Well,
I
I'm
don't know,
gonna-
we can't see.
Yeah, I'm gonna write an
So-
article about it just because it's coming out soon, and I wanted to tag a little teaser trailer in there so you can see what it looks like. It looks pretty dope.
Okay.
It'll be
Oh,
out.
did you put a trailer?
I didn't download one, but I'll put it in the article. It'll be out tomorrow.
It's probably like $3 on Steam or something.
It was $5.99.
So we'll probably pick it up. We'll do a Let's Play maybe if he feels
I'm
like
I'm all about that. I'll let's play it right now.
Oh my god.
it. Anything else after
No,
that?
there aren't any other hot releases this week. It's
Okay.
a really, really thin week, but not this week up until the 3rd or so. The following week, then 1 week from then, we'll have a really good hot release for you guys. Evolve's coming out. We'll talk about that in detail. We're not gonna talk about that now. That'll be next week.
I actually had somebody ask me about what I thought about Evolve when I was getting my coffee this morning.
Oh yeah,
I showed up at Dutch Brothers. Yeah, he's like, so I was gonna ask you. I remember you from last week. Wait, hold on, let me see if I can do what this guy did.
All right.
I was gonna ask you. I don't remember if you remember me from last week, but I did your coffee, and I put the white chocolate in it for you. I didn't get white chocolate. I got dark chocolate. But he was a nice guy too. He's like, what do you think of Evolve? And I was like, actually, I haven't played it. No idea. But from what everyone else has told me, they're tearing their skin off to play the game. So
I'm so fucking excited.
I actually could not give any less shits about Evolve.
Oh
but,
my god, it's
whatever.
so fucking
I don't care.
awesome.
It looks okay. I don't know. Whatever.
I'll play it
just doesn't
on
appeal
your
to me.
console for the 20 minutes that it'll be entertaining, and then when I'm done doing the FPS that I think I am, I'll move on to another game.
I'll play it for
Shit like
you
that,
guys.
though.
I'll play it for the fans. I'll judge it for the fans. But I won't do it because I want to. I'm doing it for you. 'Cause I heart
He
you.
lives a
so
hard
much.
life, this one. All right, well, getting off of Terry's hot releases, finally,
Yeah.
and all it has to do with his releases. Well, actually, what we're talking about this week is cheating, in a broad sense, and then there's been a lot more that has gone on recently in regards to cheating, and we'll kind of talk about some of that. We thought it was appropriate. Ironically, to tie it into the Super Bowl because that whole Deflate Gate thing.
Don't call it gay, please.
I made a comment on that. I was
that
like,
about
can we just stop adding the word gate to things?
Yeah, really.
Was that about Deflator Mouse?
Oh my god.
That was just for you, Eric.
So some of the classic throwbacks that we have, and I mean, I don't know if you guys want to start off with something else, but
Yeah, let's start classic.
to me, when you talk about cheats, you talk about different types of cheats, right? There's cheats that either the developers intended or at least intentionally left in, and ones that they didn't. And we kind of want to go over what we think is appropriate, what we think it isn't appropriate. Obviously, this is all up for debate, up for discussion. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. But the first thing I think of is the Konami code, right?
Yep.
Konami code up, down, down, left, right, BABA start.
Select start if it's two
depending on
players.
Yeah.
I always thought it was select start until recently I found out that that was for 2 players, but I always play with 2 players.
I think there's variants. So it's always up, down, left, right, and then some it could be like X triangle,
Depending on
what system you're using, and then whether or not there's even a start button, because PS4 got rid of that, right? There's like an option button and a share button, it was really weird until I started using it, until we needed to be able to Twitch, and then it was like super useful.
It is useful. PS4 is awesome.
But there was a lot of games. I think the first was the first game Contra.
Yes.
So the very first game was Contra, and they left it in, and I don't remember if there's kind of a story behind it. I don't remember why they picked it, but it would give you 50 lives, and even in 2-player 50 lives. And if anybody ever played Contra, I'm guessing we have some images that are coming up of it. One that I found, which was like a super amazing, the old version of the box from Japan, which
the Japanese box art? Oh my god.
ridiculous.
I almost want to get out of the way, just have everyone look at that for a second.
Did you ever look at, not to get too much off subject, but did you ever look at the box art for Mega Man?
The original?
Yeah.
The first couple
Yeah.
where like they couldn't figure out if he was holding a gun or if it was part of his
Yeah.
arm or whatever. And
Terrible.
It was like super like sci-fi. Like sci-fi books still have that kind of shit on
Yeah.
it. But like back then it was like, and you're like, okay.
somebody who never
Oh,
quite
so
made it
s-
through art school, but he
Yeah.
said he would do it for free. Like he's got a webcomic. It's a little depressing, but you might.
I think it's pretty good. I
didn't say it wasn't good. I said it was depressing.
I gotta get back on that. Yeah.
We're going to work on a new series together, though.
Yeah.
Deals being made. So that was the first thing that I think when I go back. I can't think of anything before that. There probably was. I don't know that we had any way to record it, so it's not like anybody was playing Atari games and found like hacks and stuff for Atari games. If they existed, I'm not really sure what they were.
Yeah, they're probably more like glitches and parts of the game that weren't complete or made appropriately back then. Not a true cheat code that was released.
Well, there's also a point, that a lot of those older games, those older, Atari and even into NES games, they were made by like 5 people.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So they didn't have the play testing that they had today, and they didn't have the amount of people looking over the code. So the glitches were just everywhere.
And
Well,
they
a lot
probably
of
didn't
them
have as
were-
many people playing it, too. So
A lot of them weren't glitches. Like the Konami code was left there on purpose. It was a debug thing, and that's the first thing I think about is that when you go back that far, everybody feels like there was less glitches. It's really kind of hard to tell. I didn't feel like there was a lot, but I feel like there was more testing that went on back then because they knew once it was out, it was out.
But then it was a lot more simple.
Well, the games were definitely much more simple, absolutely. Right. So there was there was less graphical issues and things like that. But they would leave those codes in, and I don't know that I feel like even back then that when somebody put in a code and they said to themselves, if you beat the game with the Konami code, then you beat the game. I mean, you got through the game. I don't know if you beat the game. If you were meant to be able to beat the game with 50 lives, they probably would have given you 50 lives to begin with, but they didn't. So there's this idea of how whether it's intended or not intended to be played a specific way.
To me, like made the game easier.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first times the developer thought of like, okay, let's make the game in a hardcore mode with like 3 or 5 bullshit ass lives, and they'll earn more by getting a shit ton of points, which would be really difficult. Or we'll make it more casual. And I don't think of anybody I know of that ever beat the first Konami game or the first Contra game without using that code.
No, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, it was super ball.
No, because it was like a lot of games that came out back then, and I actually haven't seen a lot of these lately, where it's you're on the screen and then there's just a million pellets. And they're coming from every direction, and yeah, you have to kill something, but it's really just about you dodging around a bunch of
dodging.
Yeah, a lot of dodging.
Within the limitations of your character's like agility too.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see. I actually sat down and I played it the other day without the Konami code, and I think I made it like 6 stages or 7 stages in. I did a pretty good job of it. I got to it where you were like inside of the giant alien station, and then I died, and that was it because there wasn't really any continues left. There was I think you started with 3 continues. You had 7 lives and 3 continues. If you use the Konami code, you still had like the 3 continues and then 50 lives per continue or something like that.
Yeah, making it anyone can get through if they put through enough time, and you'll make it. Just keep running.
And the game was obviously distinctly made to be played by 2 players because they didn't increase the difficulty. Nope. And you didn't share lives. You had separate lives. So if you were playing by yourself, you were just fucking yourself. There was one less person who could be shooting to help you out. And I was playing it solo, so I kind of feel like if I went in there and did a couple of practice rounds and I got a second person, I might be able to beat the game with 7 lives. I don't know, but back then I certainly could have.
Well, those Contra games never got any easier either. They're always held as like some of the most difficult games ever, like Contra Shadow Soldier for PS2.
Sure,
hands down one of the most difficult games. I still claim that I beat it because I was playing with another player. We got to the last boss, and he finished off the guy after I died. But I'm like, he's like, you didn't beat it. I beat us. Yeah, but I can't. We worked together, then I died, so only you beat. We beat it together.
Yeah, Come on, dude. Team,
you know what I'm talking about.
I don't think I played Shattered Soldier. Soldier. I played Super Contra.
I'll never forget Shattered Soldier.
Super Contra was great because you would get like the rapid fire things, and you could just pull the button down, and it was just this stream, and you could just. Wait for that noise that meant that you were hitting the right thing.
Yeah, the little sound effect that notified you were getting it right.
Can you imagine being on like a battlefield and you're like shooting and then you start shooting and it's all you're like, seems like that's a really maybe you should like not have giant bulbous orbs coming out of you that tells me where your weak point is, and when I shoot it verifies to me that I'm actually doing damage.
Seriously.
But that's why they lost to humans with machine guns and rockets, despite being giant magmas creatures.
Yep. Crazy alien-looking things. One level was clearly just a parody of the Aliens movie at one point, like an arcade version, like Contra 3.
Well, the whole Contra series was a parody on Predator and Alien.
Yeah, Space Marines meet space aliens and other space hunters.
So they were like Arnold Schwarzenegger, which Predator was on today on Encore. Yes.
Nice.
Give me I'm right here. Do it. Finally, we're getting another Terminator movie with him in it.
I know what I would say. Fuck that. Let's have him do a freaking Contra movie.
It looks better than it has every right to be.
No,
that's
whatever.
All the articles I keep looking at, like, we want to hate this. We hate the fucking name. We hate the whole concept. But the trailers look fucking cool.
I'm not doing that, man. I'm not getting sucked in. They're not going to get hope out of me. I'm a hardcore Terminator fan. I'm not hoping.
What do you think about that? In a couple of the scenes, he has gray hair as the Terminator.
I think it's fucking retarded. I think everything goes against everything you ever knew about Terminator. It's like, now we're what? You support that, Eric?
I know now why you cry.
Oh yes, because of Terminator 5 Genesis. God, I feel like I would have break my own.
Genesis. That's not even how you spell the word Genesis. They love to just let's take the I's and E's. Why? People will think that's cool.
But you know why they did it? So you would ask why.
Why?
They think they're clever. And for Arnold still being in it, it's just another slap in the face, man. I mean, come on, man, no, just no more.
Come on, it's bullshit.
There's no more Terminator, man. Come on, I love Terminator. I don't want to see you fuck it anymore.
I don't have a problem with them retconning and rebooting it. I just don't. I think they should have picked somebody else. I think they should have been like, it's a reboot. We're restarting it.
Chris Pratt.
Haven't we had enough Chris Pratt as the Terminator?
I think Eric just wants Chris Pratt and everything.
Yeah. I just want Chris Pratt inside of him.
Chris Evans.
No, dude.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
No, so I have to imagine that if they redid it, the guy who did it wouldn't have an Austrian accent.
Yeah.
Because there was no fucking reason for the Terminator to have an Austrian accent. It was one of those things that you just let it go.
You know what Arnold Schwarzenegger should do? He should get together with Sylvester Stallone and do a Contra movie where they're both super old, tired soldiers. They're the guys from Contra that survived all that shit, and the aliens have come back. And they're
The
Expendables 5.
Oh
Contra.
my God!
You know?
If Expendables had like aliens in it,
that's really where they need to go if they want to get my money again. You know, let's do it. Let's get weird with it. Seriously.
So
is it more ridiculous?
If they make a Contra movie, at some point they're going to have to get through a door. And the door is going to have a key code. And the key code pad's going to be ups, downs, lefts, rights, B's, and A's. And the guy's just going to put it in.
We're writing it right now.
And he's going to be like, how'd you know the key code? And he's like, lucky guess. And then they go in.
Yes.
That's it.
No, he'll do this to be like, lucky guess.
Oh man,
It would pretty much just be the Expendables though, with like two people.
I just want the two of them. I want them to be super old, just to actually play their age. Just be like, I'm dead, I'm done, I can't do it again. When they're coming back, what are we going to do?
I don't know.
We're either taking us.
You know who I would use? I don't remember the guy's name, and I apologize for all you fans out there. If I was going to pick a new Terminator, I would choose a guy who played.
Dolph Lundgren.
What? He's too old.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
No, that Terry actually.
No.
Terminator Race War.
Oh my God.
Actually, Terry Crews would be pretty cool.
Terry Crews would be badass, dude.
There's no reason that Terminators couldn't be black. Well, maybe people will get angry. They'd be like,
It's
"Oh, I
always
see.
mad.
You're making black people."
Black people are the evil machines that are gonna ruin the world.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
But no,
Enjoy
I
your
was
Super
thinking
Bowl, by
that
the way.
the
Hey,
guy who
Black
played
people
Khal
could
Drogo.
could take what?
Guy who played Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
I could have him like really fucking pump up and beef out, and then he could fucking do it, right? He could.
know,
He's
man.
got a serious face.
What's his name?
Or Kristen Stewart.
Mimosa. Jeremy Hulk.
Kristen Stewart would make a great Terminator.
What if we redid it and they were like, obviously this man thing's not working and they're fucking robots, so it doesn't matter what they
it
look
would give her
like.
an excuse to have her mouth open all the time, just like,
You're Terminator. Come with me if you want to live.
shut your fucking mouth, Kristen Stewart. God damn it. Anyways, I don't like that when characters where people leave their mouth open.
We're just so off track. None
We
of
are.
this has anything to do.
We are, but that
I
was
don't even remember what the second.
We were talking
instance
about
was we were
Contra.
talking about.
But
Contra.
but before we
What?
List of codes is next.
Before we get off Contra, because introduce the Konami code, I do want to know one thing, one fact. Did you know that the Konami code works in every single Konami game for something?
So the number of games is massive, actually, that use the Konami code, and it pervades itself all the way through. You know, it's like several hundred. We've got it up here, but it pervades itself all the way through various different games, various different cultures, different developers. It's not even just a Konami code anymore. Everybody uses it.
The ancient Egyptians, the Mesopotamians.
Oh my
I
God.
kind of would like to. That would be really cool to have somebody like do an
Konami
Egyptian
Code the
art
movie.
where some
we could have Dan Brown
about
write
what?
it.
About
Have Dan
what?
Brown write it. It
Like-
doesn't have to be about anything.
Right.
Get Dan Brown to write it.
And then like Ian,
Rob Snyder
Ian
is
McKellen's
the
in there, and he's like,
Konami code.
Now the
like,
code
Jesus.
breaker.
Jesus
Jesus
Christ was not divine. He just knew the Konami code. You're like, what? Then Tom Hanks is like what?
Tom Hanks is like,
What does this mean?
Because it's
He's
for
bald.
it.
Oh, okay.
Tom Hanks is on the way out.
Oh,
he's an American.
don't watch
What?
this, Tom
American
Hanks.
Hey, Tom Hanks, you're on the way out. Will
If
Smith
you
is
made it
coming
past
up.
the stick, please don't get angry with us. I like Tom Hanks.
Will Smith is taking over, Tom Hanks. Look
We
out.
would like for you to give us an investment to make
Yeah.
this better
Tyler
than.
Perry's on the way up too.
Tyler Perry.
We're not going to talk about Tyler Perry. We're
not
not going
gonna
to talk about.
start
We're not going
Tyler
to stop it. We're not going to talk about Tyler Perry.
Oh my
We're gonna
God.
talk
that's
about
Dick
it.
Fury.
Did you say Dick Fury?
Dick Fury, agent of. I don't know.
Oh Jesus! If there was ever a language issue on this, it's gone now.
it's an
I'm pretty
This
sure that's
episode is
worst.
the most raunchy one we've had yet.
Oh my god!
got
This is what you get when you ask people to film before the Super Bowl. I mean,
Yeah.
we're nerds, but I want to watch the Super Bowl, and this is what we're gonna
I
do.
want to go to an anti-Super Bowl party, man. If I was in Virginia, we'd have a party where we just watch the commercials,
And
eat a bunch
wear
of food.
fedoras and fucking scarves.
and you would love it. And
I
you would
would
sit
love
in the
it.
corner just like, this is so cool.
Drinking Jameson
fedoras
from
and
the past.
scarves.
Right on.
the anti-Super Bowl party.
Because Virginia, where I'm from, it's a bit of the land of the hipsters, man. Everybody's trying to, like,
Smoking clothes.
whoever doesn't care the most is, like, the coolest guy in the room. If somebody's like, oh, man, we just won $1 million, he's like, whatever. That guy is, like, the coolest guy in the room.
Whatever.
There was a guy, and I'll say his name because I don't like him. I don't care if he knows I don't like him. His name was Hampton.
Hampton.
And
like
city,
the beach.
The city I was from was called Hampton. The beach was called Hampton. The university was called Hampton. This guy never got a real job. He rides a skateboard to this day. He's an artist. I hate you, Hampton. I hope you watch this. Piece of shit. Fucking piece of shit. If I get compared to you
Because
one
we
more
are
time,
so successful. Fuck you.
if I get compared to him one more time,
what was the name of the Porky Pig character in Tiny Toon Adventures? Hampton J. Pig. Anyway,
He speaks in references.
he's a pig.
Eric Burrell, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Random.
He only speaks in
Just
references.
in case you didn't know that, go out and watch that.
But yeah, where I'm from, it's very
Holds up.
history. It's very
I don't know,
history.
I've
That's the
never
point of what he's trying to say there.
I'm gonna start just doing cutaways.
But
for
I
everything
would.
you say.
I know. Hey, it worked for the Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane.
The Family Guy.
Seth
Yeah.
MacFarlane.
You grew up in the 80s, we get it. That's
Yeah, we get it. Also, he's pretty sure he's gay. Pretty sure.
He's pretty sure he's gay, or you're pretty sure?
I'm pretty sure he's gay. No one makes that many musical references without at least tasting a piece. He at least tasted one time.
He's got one for you. It's a long shot.
But it'll be a bridge between us.
So, anyways, getting off the topic. So, when we were talking about the concept of how cheating has evolved, through the games that we play, right? So, whether cheating is okay, whether it's not okay, what are your opinions on just cheating in and of itself? We'll talk about different genres and different exposures, but just cheating on its own, what do you think?
Cheating as a whole, the big bubble of it.
Yeah, like
I feel like it's okay to do. Cheating in many games are built in to give you the ability to cheat, and if it's not, as long as you're not doing any cheating, it's majorly terrible. I think it's okay. I think it's something that somehow enhances certain titles. If your game needs to have cheats in it to make it better, or it makes your game better anyways, that's fine. I already bought it. I can do what the fuck I want with it. It's America.
How about if you can only do the cheats after you've beaten the game?
That's not what America's all about.
Certain things, because like in GoldenEye.
Not to get too specific, but go ahead, GoldenEye.
But in GoldenEye, in order to get, there was a list of cheats that you could get, but in order to get them, you had to complete I know the invincibility code because I tried that for fucking weeks. You had to complete the second mission within like a minute and 30 seconds.
Sounds more like an unlockable than a cheat to me, but
it was. But then you can get invincibility, and then you can play that and the golden gun, things like that. The cheats were built into the game, but you can only get them after you beat the game, or you beat it in a certain way.
do you feel like that's a better way?
So you think? So yeah, I was gonna say. So you think that cheats should only be used if you have gained the rights to them?
Gotta
Do you have
earn
to
your way to it?
prove that you can do it without the cheats before you get them, or
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that.
Okay, all right. So you think that people should be able to cheat whenever they want to if it enhances their personal experience?
Yeah.
Do you think that you shouldn't necessarily be able to, or maybe it's a better approach to be able to cheat after you've proven that you can beat the game without the assistance to cheats?
Yeah.
So why would you say that it's better to make people play it instead of not? And I'll frame this in another sort of comment / question. I think my opinion on it is that the more cheats there are in games, the more DLC downloadable cheats and unlocks that there are, that it has to an extent eroded people's ability to play said games. And this taps a little bit into our being older and having had to play games that I won't call them harder because I think it's a cop-out, but games that were difficult as a result of things like control scheme or lack of continues. A lot of those things have been taken out, and then on top of that, people are given things like cheats to go through. I mean, if you think about shit, unless I'm wrong, there was no cheats. Well, in the very first Super Mario, the only really cheat that I know of was if you could fuck around with the turtle shell and you could bounce on the turtle shell and it would give you like pretty much unlimited lives.
Yeah, but you still have
Which
to
was
make
really
it
like
through
a
the game.
hack, but you couldn't. It didn't make it so that when you died, you came right back out of a pit, or that there were necessarily more save points in the level or something like that. You still had to start over, and it was still super fucking hard. Now, every game that comes out now, I think people see that as not being hard. It was just annoying. I know that when I play games, if I find that the reason why I can't beat something is because it doesn't control very well, like how you used to, I know it's not realistically possible in physics, but you would jump in the air with Mario, or a really classic example is something like Pitfall or Castlevania 1 through 3, where you had to fucking commit to a jump.
Yeah.
And if it was just boom, or sometimes it was right, and then like a bat would come in and you were like, I made that jump, bat, and it would just like nail you back into a fucking pit and stuff like that. It's not like that now. There's always a way you can save yourself, and those aren't even cheats. They're just built into the game. So then having people who get irritated with that level of difficulty and still use cheats, I feel like that it erodes at people's ability not only to just be better at games, but also their ability to to withstand the irritation of certain things. I play almost every game now, and nothing makes me go fuck and flip the table anymore because it's not that irritating.
I have stuff makes you do that all the time. I'm on both sides of that. What's up?
Evil Within.
Yeah, I mean, the Evil Within.
Sore subject.
Okay, so Evil Within, and I don't. It's gotten mixed reviews from different people. Some people super like it, and I wasn't really a big fan. Dylan wasn't really a big fan either. Honestly, it is the control scheme. That's the problem. Is that I don't feel like anything was particularly hard because they build a game as another one of those things where you get low on ammo and low on resources. But in a couple, like the 2 instances where I had a bunch of zombies come at me, I never really had problems with resources. I'm playing on a normal right now. I'm still trying to get through it. Still trying. Like I spend an hour every week or something trying to play the next one because it's just not that fucking entertaining, to be honest with you. But I don't think I got irritated with it. I didn't get irritated. I just kind of said, well, I mean, the game is fucking retarded, but I'm going to keep going. But I never got physically fucking angry. Like, I would get straight up angry at some of the older games. Like Battletoads. Fuck.
That game was fucking brutal.
And there wasn't unlimited continues on anything. You had to use a cheat code to get... That's my point, is a lot of the things that we used to have to use cheat codes to get back in the day, they're just in games now.
It's true.
And that brings me to my next topic, really, which is at what point should people at what point should developers see how often somebody uses a cheat code to just decide that maybe that's how the game should be done? And are we babying ourselves? Or
I would actually like to comment on that.
Okay.
I was just thinking while we were sitting here talking about the way cheat codes work and how you might want to change the way the game works. Think about Grand Theft Auto. For me, I played Grand Theft Auto 5 last night for the first time, and I was just terrible at it because I played pretty much 3 in Vice City. I beat that, but after that, after I beat the game, I just used cheat codes constantly for everything. So my ability to play the game without them was greatly reduced. So now I'm playing the latest version, and I just look like shit because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing without it. So I was like, man, if only there's a game that included all the cheat codes for everything so you could just do it all. Oh, wait, Saints Row. Somebody said, you know what, fuck this, let's go weird with it, and just gave you all these abilities and took it ridiculous, and that's how it kind of developed into that. And I was also thinking, we were talking about Mario, I was thinking, man, how come nobody ever hacked an old Mario game and put a bunch of ridiculous stuff you could do in there? Like, if I was going to hack a Mario game, like Super Mario Brothers 1, what would I do? I was like, I would take a mushroom and turn him giant. Oh, wait, that's in the new Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, I would add probably something ridiculous like the ability to use different power-ups to multiple players. Oh, wait, that's in the new Mario game. So a lot of those things that somebody may have come up to make the game more fun for them may have it through some channels, through Nintendo or through the other developers. Somebody could have stolen the idea. Saints Row clearly did it to make their own game or make it different and better later on by using the ideas of the cheats as a part of the game. So I think what you're saying probably happens all the time. They take a look at what people are doing to enjoy it, and eventually, sometimes they'll catch up and make it a part of the game. I think that's probably fucking
So what does that mean for multiplayer games, though? Like when somebody comes up with an experience and they say, hey, this is how we want the game to be played. And we had talked about this before off camera, particularly in things like World of Warcraft or back in the day Final Fantasy 11. And did you end up getting the image up for Final Fantasy 11 for the fishing? So Final Fantasy 11, there was a lot of things in it that people...
I got a World of Warcraft.
Okay, so we have an image from, and he can throw that up there, but this gives you some of the UIs of what some stuff of what a lot of people do with, and we'll expand the conversation to multiplayer and not just stuff on your own.
Cool.
They're everywhere.
They are.
There's
Menus,
a whole.
of them around
It's the
you.
whole
Menus.
thing, and it's all just menus and information.
Oh, yeah, menus. Get all over me.
That's just for
Just keep it in the pants today.
Oh, my God.
So when you're playing MMOs, I feel like a lot of it's pretty basic. A lot of people strive for the same stuff. If you ever tried 14 1.0, they tried to do some crazy stuff with it. Or Final Fantasy 14. I should just call it 14. Not everybody knows what that is. Final Fantasy 14 1.0, and it didn't really work very well. It's still that the WoW formula is the formula that everybody responds to the best because the game is easier. It just is. And that's part of what I kind of think about it is that everybody says there's this very small percentage of people who want super hard games, but then people respond to games that are just easy to get into, easier to play.
Yeah.
So this fishing, I think it's a fishing bot. That's what's
Healing
up, right?
bot.
It's a what?
Healing bot.
Healing bot. Okay, so this is a bunch of different things you can do in a healing bot, which will basically benefit you as a healer when you're playing, but it'll make things happen more efficiently.
Well, I got some words for this, but go ahead.
And a lot of people will use that, but it makes it easier for them to do what they're supposed to do more effectively. Now, this isn't talking about when you're at home just trying to make your experience the way you want to experience a game. This is now affecting other players. Now this could be positive or negative. I mean, I suppose if I'm playing with you, I'm just happy that you don't suck at healing if you're using a heal bot. But how does that impact the economy of the game? How does that impact how other people are supposed to be playing the game? And how does it impact our expectation of somebody who's good versus bad? Because what I have seen happen is that you'll end up inadvertently playing with people who are using bots and everybody's super good. So then the couple of people who don't want to use bots suck. Now, these bots aren't free. You have to pay for them outside the game. They're not sanctioned by the developers, any of that kind of thing. And if you get caught, you'll get thrown out. But mostly they don't really give a shit no matter what they tell you.
They're taking your money every month. They don't care.
So what are the implications there? I mean, you end up raising the bar without anybody having the opportunity to play the game without the bots.
Well, I want to hear from Eric. As a non-MMO player, but a guy who plays games with other people for fun and it's kind of same couch or maybe played online, how do you think that would affect your experience if somebody was using something to give themselves a competitive edge or make themselves better while you're playing it the purest kind of way? What do you think about that?
Well, I still like to play Call of Duty World at War. And that game is fucking impossible to play online because everybody has hacked it. There are people who fly around, you can shoot them 1,000 times and they won't die. They can hit you in the head every single time. But I'm the type of person who I would refuse to download the hacks just so I could play the game, because at that point, like, what's the fucking point for me? Am I just gonna cheat like everybody else? And I don't even know what's in it for them. They fly around, they shoot at people, and then I think
trolling. I think mostly
they just wait for people like me to come in, then they kill us, and then I don't play again for like.
Well, there's a whole subculture of people, and they think it's gamers, and this comes up when you have a discussion with somebody about Gamergate. But I don't think that horrible type of person is a strictly gamer thing. I think that there are a lot of people, when they gain anonymity online, that they just thought they get joy out of fucking trolling people for fun. And so that's what you're dealing with. I think when you find somebody out there who's floating around, unless they're just trying to pad their score because they want to be able to show other people what their score is, they're basically up there just they're like, look at this fucking guy. And you can go on Twitch and you can see it. There are people who are showing themselves actively cheating and nobody gives a shit.
Showing their own face.
Watching these people like, fuck this guy's bullshit. Like, yelling about it, swearing, and people are thinking it's funny. And I mean, you can just not buy into it, but what does that mean for the game? I mean, should they not just accept at some point that why don't you just stop playing?
I pop in. The reason why I pop in, and I really only pop in about every 6 months or so, is I pop in to see if those people have lost interest, and then there's just this core group of people who just play because fuck, who cares?
Right.
Or if somebody's taken over the servers or something like that and got rid of all those people and tried to bring it back. My son recently downloaded like Battlefield 2142.
That's still available?
No.
Oh.
The servers are all fucking gone. I think you have to play it through some service or something like that.
I'm gonna look into that
to even get in it.
But
like, there's nobody playing it. But it's a really fun game, and you want to be able to play it. But I think it's a little off subject or anything. Just like multiplayer games that require servers now that don't have servers. How do you play them?
Oh, well, that's a discussion for another day.
But I can't when I think of stuff like that. When I think of somebody who's cheating, I can't help but think about like the accusations of like juicing in sports,
right. Mm-hmm.
And
deflating the balls. Top goal.
But there's one incident, and I'm not really sure. I've never researched it, but my dad told me about it in racing. Where, I don't know what kind of racing it was, but somebody once had the idea, hey, let's put a turbine engine inside of a car and see what happens there. Well, that turbine car fucking blew everybody else out of the water.
Sure.
And right after that race, they made it illegal now to use turbine engines. So, and one of the things that I love about because I work on cars, and one of the things that I love about working on cars is tweaking it certain ways. If you find like, okay, well, if I do this pipe like this, it gets a little bit cooler, it gives me a little bit more horsepower. But there's limitations on how much modification you can actually do to the engine. So
sounds similar to a game engine.
I think to a certain degree, like that would be like the spirit of the game. How good can you get? But there's a point when you put a turbine engine in your gaming console, and now all of a sudden you're fucking just destroying everybody else. And while it may not be illegal, does it making the game fun for everybody else? Is it still keeping up the spirit of competition between players? And
well, I would question that about the example of when you put, like, when somebody said let's put a turbine engine in there, and they put it on the track and they're like, this fucking blows everybody away. For a damn fact that at that point they won. unless the damn engine blew up or they were so horrible at driving, they already knew that they won. So at what point is that not okay in the spirit of competition? You're no longer competing with people. You've taken yourself out of class. And if you had told them ahead of time, hey, look, here's our time, do you think the judges would have been like, look, man, like, that's a whole different class of car. So to me, they got one by, and the only reason why they got to keep the title is because the judges didn't know what to do about it. They were like, well, we can't re-race. We're not going to re-race, so fine. And now it's... But they knew, I think they knew going into that they were like, this is probably outside the okay realm, but I don't really give a shit. And
we could probably get away with it.
There's no rule against it.
Well, and I don't know that I like that. That's when you talk about the spirit of sportsmanship, and there's something that we can bring up in terms of Counter-Strike. Because Counter-Strike Go, there was this incident that happened earlier this year, and I don't want to go into names and stuff. It doesn't really matter who it was or when, but there was some of the top tier players were found to be cheating. Now, to be fair, the cheats that they used were, I don't want to say they're minuscule, but you can imagine if the reticle was coming up to here, it would just adjust just slightly. So as long as they were good enough to get somewhere inside like my headspace here,
sounds like they're expanding the hitbox for the headshot.
Well, that's not technically how it worked, but in the end, I suppose that's kind of what happened, right? Yeah. But what ended up happening is it would find basically the target of the center of the hitbox for a headshot, and it would auto correct to that spot. So you did have to be fast. You did have to be good enough to do that whole. I don't remember what the actual technical term for it is because I'm not a big FPS person, but where you come in and you do an instant zoom and zoom out and then shoot.
Scoping.
Scoping, where you would come in and they would still use quick scoping and stuff like that, because that's how it is to use quick scoping to be able to. So when they were watching, they couldn't really see, and I guess they went back and looked at the logs, and it turned that at least for that tournament, and then they didn't know how far back these people had these basically hack bots put on there. Now you could ask yourself the same thing: at what point is hacking okay? At what point is it not? What point is juicing okay? What point is it not? And when should we say to ourselves, this isn't okay? And who gets to decide that, right? That's a whole other thing. When you talk about what happens in something like the NFL or the NHL, there's a board that talks about, hey, here's a set of rules, and they can make dictations and decisions. Now, if we're doing a single tournament, the board on that tournament can decide whether they're cheating or not, and we can flame each other on the internet all day long. Yeah. But there's not an overarching thing in video games that decides what's okay and what isn't okay. And when this person decided that they were going to tweak the software versus tweaking their mouse, people are allowed to bring their own mice. They're allowed to bring their own keyboards. They let them use certain kind of macros. So I don't really understand where the line is drawn and who determines that. What do you guys think?
I hate to backpedal a little bit, but those healing bots, man, those really got under my skin, dude. Because I play healers on MMOs, and I don't know if there should be like in that specific kind of like there's a group of people playing. Maybe you could vote for somebody who would make the decision over what's okay and what's not. But then you're going to lead to kind of like parties of people who are okay with using bots and whatnot, people who aren't. So there'll be like purists and there'll be like people who are like, okay, let's tweak it up and make myself better. Because now that I think about it, I may have played against one or two people who were using those because their so calculated timers were just so precisely perfect. Like, I was playing in Final Fantasy XI at the time, so there was a rest system, and they would just rest just perfectly to get another spell off just right. Just like, no, there's no way you got it down just so perfectly.
I don't mind saying, actually, I used to bot in Final Fantasy XI too toward the end.
But what were you doing?
I would go completely AFK and let it heal the party.
You're a bastard.
But I didn't have a bot. I wrote a script program. I'm a software developer by trade. So I used something called AutoHotkey, which I think some people who know me remember using that. And I would go in with parties as Red Mage, and Red Mages got bad rap because the Red Mage was a great job.
I started as a Red Mage.
You, especially if you were sub ninja, you could go in there, you could melee if you had the right strength stuff. You could do decent melee attacks if you had the right accuracy. You could do if you built yourself correctly, you could do decent magic damage if you built yourself correctly, especially with magic burst. But you always ended up basically being a refresh bot sub heal.
Yep.
Where you would just stand there and you were like, refresh.
Oh, you need another cure? You got one?
Sit. Refresh. So I wrote a script that just fucking kept everybody refreshed, and nobody gave a shit.
I wouldn't.
There was no better or worse way to be a refresh bot. So at what point was I didn't do it in the beginning. I was sitting there just F1, F2, or no, Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, Control 4.
It was my sub job. I've been there.
People
used to give me so much shit about that.
2 hours into it, at one point I finally said, I'm not playing a game.
No.
And at what point does that extend? So if you play World of Warcraft, you ask yourself the same question. It doesn't have to do with where I'm dodging. It doesn't have to do with. It's me going 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a mouse and I go 1, 2, 3, 4.
But I feel like when
1,
you're playing a healer,
2,
and not that just
3,
refresh bot, there's a little
4.
bit more juggling involved because, like in 11 and 14, there's a bit of a haste cycle. There's a bit of a debuff or a damage over time spell. Like there was Dia in 11.
Most healers in
Arrow.
14 don't do any of that shit. They're like cure,
Nope.
cure 2. Cure,
I do
cure,
all that
Cure Asuna, cure 2.
It's not
cure,
fun
cure,
to just
cure,
do that.
cure.
You gotta mix it up. Boom, your haste is dropping in.
And
in
it's
about
good that Final
42
Fantasy
seconds.
14 does
Bam.
that.
Boom,
Like
boom.
unlike most
Bam.
things, you can actually go in there and you can debuff and DPS and stuff at the same time to make your experience a little bit better.
So good.
But you have to ask yourself at one point when people are arguing over rotations.
Right.
I mean, I know you don't play a lot of games like that, but you can understand the idea of there will always be calculated people who say this is the perfect rotation. This is where you'll do a heal, then this, and then this, and then this, and it'll maximize your damage per second. It'll
That's
maximize your healing per second. So at one point, why haven't we just known and understood that people want it to be that way and just taken all that shit out and you just set like a gambit system.
That's exactly where I was
and
going.
just set
Final Fantasy
everything
12, the gambit system.
I liked it too.
So
there are
good.
people who bought in 14. I mean, and they'll set it up so that it's basically set up as a gambit system. And I have a hard time in my mind saying if you're not the one pushing this exact thing in a row that you are doing it right or doing it wrong. Because to me, it doesn't really take as much skill to again maybe it's back and forth, but it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But you know what?
6.
As we were saying,
1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In 11, there were bots that worked like a gambit system. Now in 12, there were gambits that did it basically for you.
So at what point should we say, yeah, we understand that cheating, it happens, but maybe somebody should just take that as a cue that there's enough people that do it this way that we need to move on.
Right.
Now I don't want to spend too much time on MMOs because one of the things I wanted to make sure that we got to before we completely ran out of time today. And I don't know if you've got the video queued up in there, but very recently somebody did this Super Mario World speed run.
Oh, sweet.
And did you actually end up watching it?
Yeah, I watched a portion of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
So he does this. It's basic memory hacking. They started out testing it in an emulator because you wouldn't want to do it on a console. And this is the gentleman.
Welcome back, Sethling here.
In the background
And today I want to show you
this is a
achievement
gentleman
I did recently in Super Mario World.
And you're probably gonna watch
It's called a credit sport.
But eventually he went on there and did it and actually did it using the console. So that it
6
would be a
minutes,
legit way to win.
Which is
now,
faster
when
than
I think
anyone has
about
ever
winning a
beat the game on console.
let's say it's not a video game.
The way I beat the
If
game
you're using a
is
board
a little bit
game,
different.
if you're
I
using,
didn't
if you're
go through the
playing
game
a sports
and then beat
game or anything
Bowser
else, and we want to be able to
and
look
kiss
at
the
e-games
princess.
as being legitimate sports.
Basically,
There's
I
a point where
executed
you're playing the
a
game
very
where you're no longer
complex
playing the game.
glitch.
Now,
Right.
to me, what this
And
guy
you'll
did is
see
he used a
that during
memory
the run
hack
today.
to
Now,
glitch
this
the
glitch
system
was
into getting
discovered
him to the
and setup was
credits.
created by
That's
Jeff
not
W.
beating.
356.
That's not winning the game.
He did a run with the glitch
beating the system,
about
but I don't know if it's winning.
8 months ago.
Now,
And,
what is a memory?
And
hack?
his time was 5 minutes, so his time is
Well, it's
still
not
the
something I
world
would say is
record.
pervasive.
Although it wasn't really recognized as a
but
world record.
essentially because of how the
until
game was programmed.
Basically, until I was able to
certain
finish
things
this
are
run
put into certain
and
memory
prove that it was
slots at
possible
one
in
time.
console. Okay, let me just
what he ends up
briefly
doing
say
to cause the memory
what you're
slot
looking at
hack
here.
is
I
that
go through the level
your
and get
character,
Yoshi and
Mario,
get a
was able to
mushroom
pick
and
up
die,
one
just so that I'll
specific
have a
object at
mushroom in the
time.
item
You can't pick
reserve
up more than one
box.
thing, so you're given
That's
a
the only
state
purpose of
of
going through the
holding
level
this
the
set
first
object.
time.
Now,
Now
using,
I'll explain the glitch.
rapidly
As I'm doing it,
and
I won't
at the
explain
right
what's
time,
happening,
replacing
but
that same
basically the
object in there
idea
because
is
the
that I'm
object
kind
is
of
actually an
writing
array of
code
various memory
as I
values.
play the game.
He ends up
So I go into this
two
type
different
here, I
things
grab
in
a
the same slot
block.
at the same time, which shouldn't be
I need
possible.
one of these blocks.
So it overwrites this
in
other
order
piece of memory down
to
here
do
that's right
something
next to it,
later.
which is supposed to be used for something
And
else.
It's going to be hard
So
to
that's piece
explain,
one.
but
And he runs
I'll
back
try
and he
and
ends up.
explain when I get there.
And I don't remember
And-
exactly how it goes, but he hops across a
so
couple
this run,
of different enemies
not
to
go
get
well
his
at the
score to
beginning.
something specific, and
Speed
then
run
he
did not
flops
go
the
well at the
score
beginning.
over, and the score
the goal
flopping
here
ends
is
up
I'm trying to
putting another piece
take
next
one of
to
the
that.
one
So
of
he's
these
creating these
foldable,
different
throwable
pieces in a
blocks,
row,
called a throw
which
block,
are the
and put it
memory
next
set
to a
that are
key
required
switch,
for it to trigger.
and then grab both at the
showing
same time.
credits.
The way that I do it is very
So
fast.
he's
but
Essentially
there's a 50%
hacking the
chance of
game
failure,
by
which
clogging
isn't
the
too
game's
bad.
memory
Obviously,
to cause
you'd
it to
expect
happen. Now it was super
in a
cool.
couple
It
attempts
was
you should
awesome.
get it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think
more than a
that
couple attempts
the person who put
in
the
this
time
run,
and
and
the
that
effort
is
into
why
coming up with
my
something
time
like
was so
that
much
by
worse
maybe
than
using
Jeff
hex editing on
W's
the
time.
emulator and coming up and saying,
So
hey,
you'll
you can
see
make
that.
this happen if you do things this way.
I have to do this in
I think
order
that's
to.
great. But he
well,
was
it's
given,
kind of complicated.
from what I can
I'm gonna
tell,
say that a
because
lot,
there's
I
no
think,
official
during this commentary.
board. We talked
It's kind
about
of
this,
complicated,
besides
but
who
I
does
have to
doesn't
do it
have
in
the,
order to
you know, the
get the
Guinness Book of World
P-switch
Records maybe
into a
would be the
certain
closest thing.
sprite slot.
He is
I don't even know what
currently,
happened
as
there.
far
I've
as I
never
know,
stepped on
seen
that switch
as the
before
world
while
record
trying
winner
to
of the quickest win for
grab
Super
the
Mario
block and
World.
the switch at the same time. But I'm trying to get
So
the
the question
P-switch into a certain sprite
Should
slot,
he
and that's why
get a
I
world
do this.
record for doing
Not
something?
really gonna
That he
explain
just
it
basically
any
didn't have to
further.
play the game.
think I might get
You know,
it
he
pretty
just saw.
soon here.
And secondarily,
Still not.
what does that mean for
Anyway,
everything else? And how
what
do
I'm
we
doing
keep
during this
ourselves
glitch is
credible
I'm setting
in
up the
esports
game's
if,
memory.
if what we're
And
doing
I'm going to be
is
putting
saying
things in
you don't
particular
have to beat the game.
locations.
Like, what if I could just
By doing
stand at the
so, I'm
50-yard
going to
line on a
write
football
binary
game and
into
throw it
certain
through the
parts
arches?
of
Be like,
the
what?
Super Nintendo's
It went through the
RAM.
arches? Isn't that a score?
Alright, finally got the
I don't
double
think it
grab,
would
so
be like
I'm
that. It'd
holding
be
both
like
the
you
P
stand on
switch
the
and
50-yard
throwback at the same
line,
time.
then you move back, you move
And
forward,
by
you move back, you move
by
forward,
putting
and then all of a sudden
certain
you
memory
have a score,
bits
and then
in
you
certain
go, okay,
parts of
game's
the
over.
RAM,
Or you
I'm
handed
going
the
to
ball
then
off to
execute a
somebody
glitch,
else
which will execute
who like keeps the ball in
those
play and runs and
bits
sticks it
as
down.
if they
It's
were
like, what?
code.
The ball was in
I'm
play
sort
the
of
whole
hot
time.
patching the
I
game
wasn't
while
there, man. The ball
playing
was on
by
the field
placing
and I
things
put
in
it down.
certain
That's a score,
locations.
right? No, it's not.
So I got rid of that P switch
I'll
and
play
loaded
devil's
another
advocate
P
on this, 'cause I
switch.
think we're all
Anyway,
on
it
the
doesn't
same
really
page
matter.
where we don't
Here
agree
I'm
that is the
bringing
way
the
to properly
throw
play the
block
game,
all the way over
right?
here.
I've spoken to a couple
My
people.
goal right
Dylan
now is I want to
himself
grab
one
this
people
shell.
that- Justin, they both.
And I
Maybe it's
sort of have to
been
juggle
a,
these two items. If they touch each
generational
other,
thing,
they'll break.
But in
And
their
if I
minds,
hit,
and
say,
their
like
argument to me
this
directly
charge and
was,
chuck,
it's
the run
more
will be over
difficult
because
to
I need to
learn
have
how
more
to
later.
break the game
I can't
to function it
I have
to
to make
than
sure
it
the
is to
throw block
actually
doesn't
beat
hit the
game. So
side
what
of
they're
a
doing is
block
actually
because
more difficult
it'll break.
than
There's
beating
just a
the
lot
game
of
in a quicker
constraints, and I
time
really have to be careful.
But I'm not
not
talking
to
about difficulty.
destroy either the
Anytime
shell or
that
the
you
throw block.
Well, that
I
legitimizes
killed the moles. This is a new strategy
I mean,
that
I
came
can
up
see
with.
how somebody would find it again, and I didn't say
First,
it isn't something
I
that
have
we
to
shouldn't say.
use
That
the
was
mushroom
cool.
and the
Yeah,
volley.
that's cool.
Those are
Yeah.
for technical
But-
reasons.
don't belong
I
in the
have
Guinness
to
Book
do
of
that.
World Records in my
But I,
opinion.
Put the
well, right,
block
but
there,
and I don't
do
know
that
if,
and scroll
if
anyway.
you, at very least,
When
maybe
the
we
block
should put them in different
breaks,
categories.
it kind of has
Like if somebody
fragments
could
that
come
break
up with
off,
the
and I need
best
to despawn
glitch,
those fragments
and they
at
got
certain
the
Y
fastest way, and then another person, the
And
way they
so
beat
the
that is
setup
coming up
that
with a
I
better
have
glitch.
there
I can
is a
see
pretty
that. The
reliable
game
setup
then
to
is
do that.
glitching. But
Here
if
I'm
you're
taking the
setting
new
the
P
bar
switch that I
at
loaded. This is in
how
the correct
fast can
sprite
you
slot,
go through every
and I'm
level? I
putting
mean,
it in
should we
very
look at it
particular
that way? Should we
locations, so
say,
you'll see me kind
you know,
of
let's
fidget
take a
with
look
the
at what
P
was
switch
intended?
a little bit, trying to
Maybe
get
even
into
the
an
developers
exact
can get
X
involved in this to
coordinate.
decide what is
Got it
not
there, and I
intended
just
as
leave it
being a
behind.
proper ending
And that'll
to a
stay
game.
there,
As long
and
as you
that
set the
will
bar
write
the
certain
same, I
bits
suppose it's kind of
that I
okay.
need
But right
into
now,
game's
there's
memory.
nobody that sets the bar. Nobody
Now I'm gonna
bothers
go.
to ask.
I'm gonna destroy some things along the way.
So I don't know what the
Let's try this
interpretation is.
guy.
To me, I would say
I'm
at
gonna
very
load
least,
Yoshi,
if you
but
were
I'm gonna
going
make sure that
to
Yoshi's
get the
shell
speed run
breaking animation
for
isn't
Super
on
Mario
screen.
World,
If it
in order
was,
for you to
it'll
count to
overwrite
beat
the
the
data
game,
that I
you
wrote
have to
by
beat Koopa.
the block
Yeah.
variants earlier.
However
I took
you get
damage
to
there
the end
intentionally.
of that,
It's actually, I
not
need to
by
be slow
glitching
Mario
the
in
game,
order for this
but like if you
glitch to
find
work.
warp zones or
I do a
you
little
get through
thing with the
levels
shells
one
that
by
will
one
take
faster,
place.
warp
So
whistles,
here I'm
whatever.
placing
That's a different game, but
7
so
different shells
you get
in
through
precise coordinates.
Well, my
It's
warp
really
whistles.
important that they're
Well,
in the
there's the
exact
very
X
classic,
coordinate.
the classic
It's also
video
important
of Super Mario 3
how
Speed.
far they are off the
I don't know if
ground
you
when
guys
they
have
break.
watched that recently. I just did.
How's
First
that
5 shells that I
He
break, it's
went
not so
through-
important.
He just did the warp whistles, and then he
next
bounced
2
on
shells
all
that I
the-
break.
Everything. It was
Last
it was
2 shells that I
fucking
break.
amazing.
It's
Or
very
he's
important
just
that they're
running and he
close
hits
to the
and
ground,
goes,
or at least that
hits
one of them is
and
close to the
he-
ground.
I used to do
Shit.
that. I'd run.
And
I'd always make sure
otherwise,
they had a
I'm just trying to get these in the
raccoon
correct
tail, and I
X
run,
coordinate.
and
These
the
guys, I'm
second
just
that
trying
you
to break
like
them
bounced off something,
far
or
off
pretty
the
much
ground,
float through the whole
actually.
fucking level and be like,
pretty
done,
easy.
next,
It's
boom,
hard to
float,
break them
done,
close to
next.
the ground,
But
though,
that's literally how the game's
because
meant to be played.
When they're close to the ground,
Yeah,
they have
actually,
a high
and
velocity.
it's
And
funny-
the way he beats
Just kinda
Koopa,
cut
Koopa comes
then
in on his
kill these guys. I have to make sure that
thing,
Koopa's dead.
and he jumps up and he's like,
And
boop,
get
boop,
these
boop,
in
boop, 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 and then he's
expeditions,
dead,
and
he's dead, and then
I
that's
want to
the
try
end
and
of
break
the
them close to
game.
the ground.
You're
Although
like,
you
That's
okay.
notice,
Super
I
Mario
don't do a
World,
very
That
good
was
job.
3.
They're actually
Is he on a floating
these 2 shells are
conqueror
both
three?
kind of at
No,
the
the
pinnacle
cloud you're
of
talking
their
No, the cloud.
path.
Yeah, there's a little cloud.
And you can
kill
see
the
me
guy
shaking
hopping
my head
floating
on
it.
camera there
Yeah.
because I thought
Did you know
that
with
ruined
that
the
little,
run,
raccoon
that it wasn't going to be
tail
Yeah,
possible.
he's tossing
So
out the. Okay.
for the next
What,
20
you
seconds
turn
or
the stone
so,
with the
I was
tail, right?
dejected,
Tanuki.
thinking
Yeah,
it wasn't
Tanuki.
possibly
My
going to work.
bad. Sorry,
Anyway,
got
I
mixed up.
execute a glitch called the
Tanuki
item
Leaf,
swap that I'm
right.
not going to
Tanuki,
explain.
which actually,
all
not
the
even
same
on this, we can talk
legend.
about Mario, but what?
It runs the
same
code that I
Japanese
wrote,
legend,
and
Of the Tanuki?
Yeah,
you can
those
see
creatures are supposed
I was
to
very
have
surprised that it
powers
worked.
Actually take revenge on
This
mankind
is
for
the
destroying their
credits
homes,
warp.
which are the
And
forests.
It's never been done on
Miyazaki, man,
console
we gotta call Raccoon Wars.
before
I
on the
just watch
actual
it
Super
sometime.
Nintendo.
I got it on my
Like I
computer.
said, Jeff W356
Really cool.
did a
It's really
run
good.
on emulator.
All right.
Had about 5 minutes.
Anyways,
My time was
sorry.
about
So I
Random
don't know where
Japanese
that
shit.
I don't know where that leaves us.
I do plan on
I kind of feel like
working
if
more
nothing
and
else
trying to
is
get my
that
time
I'm hoping
down
that when
below
people see
Jeff's
this, that they'll
time.
come up and they'll have a
With some of the new
discussion about what
strats
makes the
that
most amount of sense.
I have and
I
that
think
I came
that
up with.
while there's always something negative,
It shouldn't be
have
too
when you
hard to
start
beat
put
this
up rules,
time.
I don't think we can
But
compare ourselves
I really
since
want to
we
thank
have a
Jeff
big
W356.
I think if
The
we're
glitch
gonna,
is really technical.
if
It
we're going
involves
to, like I
him
recently
disassembling
read
the
an article that
code
says, hey, we're
and
like
figuring out
video
exactly
games being considered as
how
like
excited
a
I am
Olympic
on the
sport
camera.
or something like that.
Oh,
Oh yeah, the people who want it to be considered Olympic sport.
We need to resolve this
Sure.
in order for that for us to have any kind of legitimacy in that kind of sense. Like it takes a lot of skill to play a video game, and I can see a world where playing a video game could be considered like an Olympic sport. I mean,
Sure.
it's certainly getting WoW tournament or not WoW.
But there are
World
rules
tournaments
in
are huge.
sports.
Right.
They have specific rules.
Well, we need this is a question that we need to kind of resolve amongst ourselves as gamers before we go to a place like an Olympic board and saying like, okay, we want to be a sport. Well, does cheating count? Does Does a move?
So who decides that?
Hitbox over? Or something
Who do you guys think would be the best combination of people? Because I've had this discussion with some individuals, and some people say the best person to do it would be like the developers who could come by and say, "Hey, man, it seems to me like the developers would be able to tell you to decide what should and shouldn't be rules, but there's implications there, right? Like if they're deciding who can win and who can't win, they might tweak the rules to be for whatever team they put in. Right. If you leave it up to gamers, then gamers are always, if anybody plays any game, goes on the forums, or goes online, then you know that they never agree on anything.
Ever.
So, I mean, who decides?
I think when somebody comes along and creates like a gaming type of competition like world, like what am I thinking of?
Like Major League Gaming or something?
Kind of like Major League Gaming, and it's not just for LoL.
Doesn't
it's not just for
LG.
Yeah, that exists.
Well, when it gets big enough, like they could be the ones to make that.
So what do they do? Do they have rules for it? Or how does that
They
work?
do. They do. They have very specific rules per game, and there are things that are in specifics. I'm gonna go with fighting games because I know the most about those. Let's say we're talking about Injustice. If you want to play Injustice in a tournament, you can't use. They remove the ability to use the background things. That's out. And
why?
Because they make the game unbalanced.
In what way? Everybody can use the background thing.
They take away from the core fighting.
How?
I'm a fighting gamer.
They
I don't
want
think
it
they
to
should be
be
in there.
purely about fighting and not about using the environment.
Right, because some
I kinda feel like
environments do X more damage than others and whatnot. So certain.
Yeah, but I
stages
feel
have
like
certain
everybody, from what I remember, in Justice, everybody interacts with the environments exactly the same. When something flies by, if I pick it up or you pick it up, we throw it at you and you take the same amount of damage.
Right,
Not like
but
Superman does more damage than Harley Quinn.
But it's damage given to you not by the other character that you're fighting, and that's their
No, I don't think I
justification
agree.
and mine as well. I wouldn't have it in the
I don't
game
think
at all.
I
I wouldn't
agree.
have it in a tournament.
But that doesn't. I don't agree.
But some characters that are considered to be technically overpowered aren't available for use, and every fighting game has characters.
Well,
like
okay,
that.
but if you take
Like
out a
Superman.
character, then that's making it
Like who?
Superman's pretty
Superman.
overpowered. Superman's pretty overpowered.
Yeah.
Terry over here is very good at fighting games, Japanese fighting games. He used to be
particular.
actually a professional gamer for a little while.
Yeah, in college a little bit.
And we played Injustice. He kicked my ass for a number of minutes until I played Superman. And Superman lived up to his name and kicked Terry's ass over and over.
I would love
I
to
played
do.
Injustice with him and I won
As
without Superman.
Without.
So everyone's just
Well,
better
I'm
than me.
not. I'm just not as good as either of you at fighting games. But
I would-
I won
Superman
a
is a great equalizer.
I won the Arizona tournament for Street Fighter 2 when I was a kid.
Nice. Awesome. I could not do fireballs when I was a kid at all. It took till I was like 13 for me to be able to play fighting games at a competitive level for a long, long time. Japanese fighters.
I was good at games when there was no even like a twinkle in someone's fucking eye about bothering with that shit. Like I won. I think I won like $50 and like it was at for those of you who aren't from Arizona, you're not gonna know this is, but it was at Gulfland and it was in the castle, and so I got like $100 and then I got like a couple free large pizzas or something like that. But it was everybody who came in and played Street Fighter, and I won because I just. What is that? Oh, is that Dalsim? Is that what that was?
I always played Honda because I was a big guy, so I like playing a big guy.
I was very good. at killing a Honda. Because people would either come up and they try to slap you, and so you just be like, all right, well, if that's all you're gonna. Because I would never be cheesy. I always played Ryu. Sometimes I played Ken because to me,
Ken is the better character, but Ryu's more. It's more fun to win with Ryu because he's not as good as Ken, so you feel a little bit better about it. That's my experience.
I was equally good with either one of them. It didn't really make
Ken
any
is
difference to
amazing in the latest games. He's amazing.
me. He's got better kick moves.
Oh.
Yeah. But I like Ryu's classic attacks a little bit more, and they give Ryu some benefits when you're using his combos. Anyway, so I would, if you were to use E-Honda and you could slap somebody, then I would start to get annoying. I'd be like, okay, well, if you're just gonna do this, then I'm just gonna throw fucking fireballs at you. But I wasn't gonna do that to start with, and then he'd start doing the thing where he would come flying at you with it, and then I was very good at being able to show Ryu can right into someone's fucking head as they were flying. And it would piss people off because they were like
such good balance.
And I'd be like, then don't do that. And then they jump at me, and I'd show Ryu kid. I always thought that both of them were overpowered because it was just nothing. There was really nothing you could do. Even somebody who I played in the later ones, they play as Sagat. And the first time you ever beat Sagat, both Sagat and M Bison, Sagat's fucking annoying. M Bison can be more so. It just depends on how you get into the combos with him. But because all he would do is tiger until he got close and he would fucking hit you. It was kind of like fighting Ryu on crazy mode. But other people would do it. And I got so good at jumping up and down between the fireballs and then just sweep kicking them.
Yep.
And then when they got up, I would show her you can, and then I would back off on purpose because they want to come after me, and I'd be like,
want to do like a knee move at you or something.
Yeah. So I purposely get out of the way, and then after they do it a couple of times, every time they'd be like, this isn't working, so they'd close, and I'd throw them, and they'd die.
Done.
And it had to be so annoying. I don't know. And I was never even very good with combos. It was just my spatial recognition that got me better with it. I was never good at like low, medium kick, fast punch, high punch, low. I don't memorize that stuff. I just block a lot. So games where like if you block too much, then it breaks your block. I tend to be less good at those because I don't like sitting there spending 16 hours just to try to figure out, memorize the specific button combination after a fucking jump kick to do it. So.
Well, I do.
Well, we have a friend, Victor, he's the first person I ever played that he pretty much just consistently, he would win 9 out of 10 games against me in Street Fighter. And it was because I would get him halfway down, and then he would finally land a combo on me, and I would die.
All over. Yeah. Fucking ridiculous.
So if I ever took the time to actually sit there and like get good at being able to do combos, I would probably destroy people. But I was like, I don't know if I want to spend a month doing that. I got other games to play.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're talking about Street Fighter because that leads me into February, which is Black History Month. So here at GlitchSlap, being the only black employee, I'm going to take the bull by the horns, and I'm going to write.
Don't get crazy. We only have like 7, so.
I'm going to write an article every week
black.
about a black character from a video game. I'll probably start with Balrog and talk about his name was originally meant to be Mike Bison and stuff like that. Just kind of dig into the character.
Really?
What
you
influence?
Choose one black character, and that's the one you think of as the
one a week.
Boxer?
One a week.
Yeah,
and I got to go with ones that are at least somewhat notable and recognizable that I can think of that everyone would know. Everybody knows Balrog.
I should clarify when I use the word retard, I'm not talking about people who are special ed.
Okay.
But we're open to suggestions. If there's another black character you want to talk
somebody
about, I'm
found that
completely open with
insulting.
that. But if you can name one black character that's a lead character from a game and not Walking Dead, then we can go
Lee?
from there. Yeah, because
Why not Resident Evil 5?
Oh.
what, Sheva? Because
Yeah,
who gives
man, Sheva
two
was
shits
awesome.
about Sheva in the story?
I did.
At all.
I thought she was
Oh,
cool.
really? Was Wesker like, Sheva, you bitch, I'm coming for you? No, it's like, Chris. It was all about Wesker and Chris and Jill. Sheva was just there. She was just fucking there, man. And the original making for the game, she wasn't even meant to be in it. February Terry is starting now. Get ready, folks. It's going to be Louis C. Black inside Terry. Terry
I
C.
actually really liked Shadow's character. I
Oh,
thought
don't
she
get
was
me
the most
started.
level-headed person.
Yeah,
When I played the game, I thought she was the only like normal person in the whole game. Everybody else was way
which
over
I'm
that.
totally all for. But as far as the story goes and as far as the game goes, she was just.
I also like that they gave her a bow. Like, despite the fact that there was like
Kinda racist.
racial, I guess I didn't find it insulting because the
They
bow
were
was the
literally
most
throwing
powerful
spears.
fucking gun in the game. So you would talk about detrimenting,
Did it go right through shields?
Africans, but
and could it stop a spear in midair? You ever do that? Because there's spear chuckers in there.
They were chucking.
I don't know. All I knew is that I could be really far away and I could aim a bow and it would one shot kill everybody no matter where you shot them, head or not.
That was
so
pretty great.
I moved to using her and using a bow because I think bows are cool like bow ties, and it was just super powerful.
Well, did you ever play the DLC where you can play as her like black guy counterpart Josh, who worked with Jill to side missions? That was kind of cool. Jill totally shit all over Josh, but whatever. I mean, she had like superhuman kicking and all sweet little melee moves and whatnot. And Josh had 1 or 2 cool ones.
You know what I would like to see, if I could do a request for Black History Month, would be you
Sure.
to do an article on taking games where there are white or, I guess, yeah, let's just say white.
Okay.
White male protagonists.
Okay.
And the fact that they were who they are wasn't important. So you could swap them out and tell me how the game would be different if you had somebody who was black.
That'll be fine.
That would be a very interesting read, I think.
I will do that. I will do that for at least 2 games.
Because what I'm honestly worried about is if there are some of the, and I don't mean necessarily the classic people, because I think that's too easy. Like if you're like, what if Laura Croft was black? Well, they would probably.
It's got to be people that look like actual people. You got to at least go with PS2 or PS3 and up.
Yeah. Well, I don't even mean just that. I mean, like, I feel like one of the reasons why they wouldn't have made Laura Croft black, for instance, is because whenever they put somebody in a game that's black, they have to be from the ghetto. There's never.
When I think of a black Laura Croft, I think of Black Dynamite.
Yeah, like suddenly she'd have like a Bronx. She'd be from the Bronx. That she couldn't just be English and black. That's why I said I don't know about that one, because if you just made her black and English, I don't think it would have changed the game at all.
At all.
She wouldn't be any different.
Nope.
So that I don't.
She'd
really
be
have a
Martha
problem.
Jones, the best companion to the Doctor. In my opinion, she walked the world.
You would know.
Actually, I think that my favorite companion for the Doctor is still Amy Pond. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, the most recent one's pretty good too.
Yeah,
I'm not up on the most recent one, so I'll catch up.
She's super cute.
she is.
I'll get there.
All right.
I mean, she is super cute, but I still like Michael Shelton.
Oh, you know the best
I like
companion
that
for
she's spunky.
the Doctor in my mind, who they should bring into the show?
Yeah, she's a school teacher.
Idris Elba.
That's cool.
Erin McGregor.
Oh my God, shut up,
It's a
man.
woman we work with. She's super cute. She'd
I
make
can't
a
believe
great.
we won't name anybody that you know. But
Oh
we'll name
yeah,
her.
come on, dude. Just be cool. Come on. Be
She's
cool.
a named character now. You can't kill her.
All right, fine.
Unless we have lazy writing.
Oh, Eric Burrell, lazy writing.
Hey, the newest
That's, you know
season
what,
of
that
Walking
works
Dead's
for you
coming
because
up,
you
by the
write
way.
very lazily.
I still haven't watched the last season of Walking Dead. I have so little shits to give about Walking Dead at this point. I'm sorry,
Oh,
but
man.
I checked out, man.
But you will defend its right to be shitty.
I will. God,
I just
dying
don't
breath.
agree with your interpretation of the word shitty.
I
think
defend
that they're-
Eric's right to not write at all.
I think they went off way the fucking deep end like 3 seasons ago. It's just boring. Like, read the comics.
Oh,
the
the
comics are way more hard hitting.
They're
Yeah.
Way more hard. So fuck the
crazy.
show. Like, I'm not going to defend it because I just think the whole show's garbage.
Yeah, the what was
I just
her
think the
name?
one opinion you have about how they built up a character and then killed her off to have a reason is what they
Yeah.
do with television.
If
The
you
whole
read the
fucking
comics,
show's
you would
garbage.
think it's lazy writing when Lori gets shot with a tank bullet, blown up carrying her own baby.
I could name a million different shows.
Okay,
I feel like we can't talk about this because we haven't prefaced this. One of these days we can talk about like his opinion on that when we have like a zombie day or something.
And when you write that Walking Dead article, when you do that.
And when he writes any article. Go on our site and talk about how he never writes anything. That's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Comment on the comments
Yeah,
here
'cause you read articles
about
from
how he
Richard,
doesn't write
articles from
anything, and maybe
Terry,
he'll
and
do it
then-
eventually. He's
You know
actually a
who-
super good writer, and the problem
Oh,
with
yeah,
it is
he's
he's
so
so
good.
self-critical that he won't just let it go.
You know, this
It would
is
be
a-
like if you wanted to take a shit, but you wanted to do it tubular. So
Exactly.
you wanted to push out all of it at one time in one long string so it's ropey. So you hold it in your fucking butt and
Like
get
a Dairy
cramps
Queen
and you
shit.
get angry and it
Exactly.
won't come out at all. So
Exactly.
then he just doesn't poop and now he's just angry all the time.
By the
Fucking
way-
write something.
And this is a real world fact. My twin sister, who watches all of our shows and reads everything on on our
The
site
first
too.
5 to 10 minutes of this show is gonna be great for her.
Oh yeah, she's gonna love it. She's super vulgar. She would have actually shown it on camera. But anyways,
God.
Yeah.
Good thing YouTube stops us from doing that.
thank God for that. But she actually asked me the
bad.
other day, "Hey, I was reading something Richard wrote. I thought it was pretty good. I read something that you wrote. Where's Eric's articles? I'm looking for those." I'm like, I don't know where they are, Whitney. I don't know. Shout out to you, sis. Love you.
He wrote a
Dan.
theoretical article that's sitting on a Word document somewhere that he won't just put on.
So I've written more
Look at
than
his
Eric has?
Yes.
I haven't.
Look at his
That's
face.
sweet.
Look at his face. Look at it's so great.
No one's gonna win a goddamn Pulitzer for this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but people have to care. People have to care that we exist before you have to worry about what your shit says.
This would be the point in the movie where Falcor comes down and takes me away from all this shit.
Here we go. Movie reference. This guy speaks only in references. Remember that time in that movie when that guy wrote that thing and it turned into a big deal? Page Master, I think it was.
You know what we need to watch? Just totally off subject.
Yeah.
The Wizard.
I was
Oh,
just thinking
God.
that actually.
What
The
movie is
Wizard.
that?
Are you serious right now?
Never seen The Wizard.
I haven't seen it either.
Don't
I've seen
flame it for
Wizards.
that.
I've seen Wizards. Is that
You
the
haven't
same
seen
thing?
The Wizard?
We have to watch
Oh
it.
my
I mean, it's a
fuck
bunch
is
of
The
white
Wizard?
kids. No,
About
it's
kids
the
like-
I
it's
watched
the
that
first
shit so hard
the
back in the
first video game movie I can remember. First one.
That actually has to go into a video game like competition.
You know what?
It was actually almost entirely paid for by Nintendo as a vehicle to sell Super Mario 3.
Yeah.
Really? Did they need that?
It was the
And
first
the Power
time it was
Glove.
ever shown anywhere.
Yeah.
Huh.
To date it's also the first time they show the Power Glove.
And then the kid knew where the warp whistle was, like automatically.
I don't.
That's
All
how I
right,
found out.
shush, because if
Okay.
we play
Are you
it,
playing?
I wanna-
Are you giving me spoilers to this
Yeah, no,
classic
this
right now?
fucking guy is
dead.
just-
Yeah,
So
it's
just
fucking
stop.
Mario 3.
Oh,
no,
yeah?
that's not what. Just let go. All right.
You know what? One more video game related TV show. I don't know if you guys remember when UPN first.
Hold me back.
UPN. Is it even called UPN? It's called the CW now.
What's that?
UPN network. It's
UPN,
called CW now.
What's a network? What's television?
Where am I right
There
now?
was a
Are we
TV
television?
show, and it had Christopher Lloyd as the bad guy, but it was like these 3 characters from a video game came to life, and the lead character was having to like foil their plots all the time. And Christopher Lloyd was in this white suit. There was like a football player guy, and then there was some other thing, and it was
It's a black guy.
fucking
that-
stupidest show.
I have no idea what you're
It
talking
was
about.
called The Deadliest Game or something like. And the only thing that was great about it was that Christopher fucking Lloyd was in it, and this was after Doc Brown, and you know what, like Suburban
Obviously
Commando.
went up from there.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm gonna kill you.
So I guess we're ready to wrap it, guys. I'm ready to wrap it. I want to say to all the black people that watch this, sorry about my haircut. I'll take care of it next week. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Every single week.
Look how bad
Look
it
at that
is.
shit, man.
Jesus Christ. It looked like it just rolled out of bed. All right.
So
sorry,
if you guys like our nonsense,
Yes.
like us on Facebook, follow us on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Look at the
Follow us on Instagram. what are you doing anything with your social media?
Nope.
Okay. He doesn't do anything.
2 months ago, we said, hey,
Anything.
make a Tumblr. He's like, sure, I'm on
Subscribe to our channel. Hopefully we'll have some more cohesive stuff. What can I say? Super Bowl weekend. We're just glad we put anything out for you guys. So once again, thanks for joining us, and we will see you. Well, actually, I won't be here, but they will see you next week.
Word.